The sickening crack of wood breaking apart pierced the air, followed by my sister Emily's panicked scream. It rang out in the stillness, chilling me to the bone. I stood there, paralyzed with dread, as Linda Harris, our HOA president, casually dusted off her hands, her expression blank and unrepentant. Emily's wheelchair lay crumpled at the foot of our front steps, a twisted wreck from Linda's careless shove. "Well, that's a shame," Linda remarked coolly, as if she'd merely knocked over a glass of water, not potentially re-injured my disabled sister. She had no clue that the man glaring back at her, fury simmering just beneath the surface, was federal judge Michael Bennett, a man who'd spent his career battling exactly this kind of heartless indifference. Her smug demeanor wouldn't hold. It'd collapse faster than the property value she obsessed over protecting. This nightmare had been brewing for months, but it finally erupted that morning. 6 months had passed since the accident that stole Emily's ability to walk, forcing her to move into my home in Pinecrest Grove. I turned my ground floor study into her bedroom, GIVYing up my peaceful workspace without hesitation. For accessibility, I'd constructed a solid, temporary wooden ramp, practical, safe, and most importantly, city-approved, while we waited for a permanent one to be installed next month. I thought I'd dotted every I and crossed every T, but I hadn't factored in Linda Harris. I'd lived here 8 years, putting up with the HOA's usual fussiness: grass slightly too tall, trash cans lingering a minute past curfew. But since Linda took over as president 3 months ago, it had escalated from minor gripes to a personal vendetta. Her latest fixation? My ramp. An unapproved monstrosity, she proclaimed at the last HO meeting, her manicured nails drumming the table. It drags down our community's charm and property values. It has to go. I tried reasoning with her, calmly laying out the ramp's temporary status, showing her the city permits, the contractor's contract, even Emily's doctor's notes detailing her medical need for wheelchair access. Linda wouldn't budge, dismissing the paperwork with a wave. "Rules are rules, Michael," she'd said, flashing a smile that never touched her icy eyes. "Maybe," she added, her tone oozing fake pity, "if your sister's situation is that bad, she should look into a more suitable place to live." I nearly lost it then, her words stinging like a slap, but Emily's hand on my arm steadied me. She needed me level-headed for the moment. Still, Linda had drawn a battle line, and I knew I'd have to cross it eventually. That memory of the HOA meeting and Linda's veiled threat still burned the next morning as I guided Emily down the ramp. Her physical therapy was vital. Her therapist had warned that keeping up momentum now, 6 months after her accident, could determine her long-term recovery. We were already behind schedule. As Emily wheeled toward the car, my gut twisted. Linda was striding toward us, clipboard in hand like a weapon, her 2 loyal board members tagging along. "Michael," she called, her voice dripping with false sweetness that grated on my nerves. "We need a word. We're doing an emergency review of your structure." I sighed, glancing at my watch. "Linda, we can't do this now. Emily's got an urgent therapy appointment, and we're late." I moved to help Emily to the car, but Linda stepped in front of me, blocking the door. Her smile stayed fixed, but her eyes were hard. "It'll be quick," she insisted. "The board voted last night. We're cracking down on violations that hurt our community's appeal." She lingered on that last word, her gaze flicking to Emily's wheelchair in a way that made my blood boil. "It wasn't just about the ramp." "I've told you," I said, straining to keep calm. "We have city permits. The permanent ramp's coming in under 4 weeks. Linda cut me off, her sweetness evaporating. "City permits don't matter here, Michael. They weren't cleared by the HO Architectural Review Committee per our bylaws. You know the rules." She shoved a folded notice at me. "This is your official order to remove it. You've got 24 hours or it's due law 200 daily fines starting today." Emily's hand shook on my arm. "Michael," she whispered, voice tight, "we need to go." I gave Linda a sharp nod. "We'll talk later." Her smile turned cold. "There's nothing to talk about. The ramp goes or the fines start. Maybe this'll teach you to follow protocol." As I eased the car out, I caught Linda in the rear view mirror, already measuring the ramp, snapping photos, her lackeys hovering. Her smugness was nauseating. Therapy and the doctor's sit dragged on for nearly 3 hours. Emily's recovery was steady but fragile. The doctor warned any setback now could be serious. When we turned back onto our street, the afternoon sun blazed. Then I saw it. I hit the brakes, disbelief warring with rage. The ramp was gone, reduced to a pile of broken wood on the lawn. Two men were hauling the last scraps onto a truck while Linda stood watch, arms crossed, smirking triumphantly. I flung the car door open. "Linda, what the hell are you doing?" Her smirk didn't waver. "Enforcing HOA rules, Michael," she said, radiating calm authority. "As president, it's my right." "You got your notice. You gave me 24 hours. I shouted, vying at the wreckage. "It's been 3. She tilted her head, feigning patience. "As I said, the board deemed this an urgent violation. Section 8, Paragraph 3 of the bylaws allows immediate removal of unapproved structures that harm community aesthetics." My mind raced past her excuses to the crisis at hand. "You destroyed our ramp. How's Emily supposed to get inside now?" Linda shrugged, a cold, careless gesture that fueled my anger. "That's not the HOA's problem, is it? You should have thought of that before putting up an unapproved structure." Emily sat in the car, pale, watching in stunned silence as neighbors gathered, some shifting uncomfortably but saying nothing. Linda's shrug snapped something in me, but panic followed fast. Emily needed to get inside, and 6 concrete steps now barred the way. "You took her ramp," I yelled, desperate. "What's she supposed to do out here?" Linda sighed dramatically, as if we were the burden. "Oh, fine," she snapped, motioning to the workmen. "Help them, just this once as a courtesy." The men hesitated but obeyed, awkwardly lifting Emily's chair. It was clear the steps were a struggle, exactly why the ramp mattered. Their slow pace irked Linda. "This is ridiculous," she barked, pushing past one of them. "How hard can it be? Let me." Before I could stop her, she seized the wheelchair handles. Lift and tilt," she ordered, clueless. "Please, careful," Emily whispered, gripping the armrests, eyes wide with fear. Linda ignored her, grunting as she yanked the chair back to climb the 3rd step. Her grip faltered, the angle off. "Linda, wait." I lunged, but it was too late. The chair tipped wildly, then tumbled backward down the steps in a sickening crash, pinning Emily's arm under its frame. Her sharp cry cut through me as I scrambled to her side. "Emily, are you okay?" She trembled, tears streaming, cradling her arm already bruising. Linda stood above, not vying to help, just annoyed. "Well, that's a shame," she said again, brushing off her jacket. "This proves unapproved mobility aids are a liability near stairs." "It wasn't stable." I stared, incredulous. "A shame? You pushed her down the stairs." I choked back more, kneeling by Emily. Her arm swelled fast. "We're going back to the hospital," I murmured, keeping steady for her. Linda backed off, raising her voice for the neighbors. "I didn't push anyone. She fell because that chair isn't suited for stairs. Proof we need proper accommodations." She paused, venom lacing her final jab. "And Michael, rebuild that ramp and the fines double." "Last warning." As Linda strutted off, Mrs. Carter from across the street broke from the crowd, furious. Kneeling beside me, she whispered, "Michael, I saw it all. That wasn't an accident, it was reckless, maybe worse. Let me help get Emily to the car. She needs a doctor." The ER trip blurred with rage and worry. Mrs. Carter's words, reckless, maybe worse, and her promise of security footage echoed. The doctor confirmed a sprained wrist and bruised ribs. "She's lucky," he said. "A fall like that, with her condition, could have been worse." When I explained, his face darkened. "Removing an accessibility ramp, then causing injury? That's potential ADA violations, maybe assault. Legal action?" "I'm weighing options," I replied, anger hardening. At home, neighbors stepped up. 4, including Mrs. Carter's husband, carried Emily inside. Mrs. Carter handed me a dish and a quiet promise. "My camera got it all, Michael. It's yours when you're ready." That night, I made the call I dreaded, unleashing my judicial weight on Linda Harris. The next day, she called an emergency HOA meeting, claiming I'd threatened her after the ramp incident. Emily insisted on attending, sling and all. "I want them to see," she said firmly. The room was packed, tension thick. Linda, flanked by her cronies, banged her gavel. "We're here to address Michael Bennett's violations and aggressive behavior," she declared, spinning a tale of my defiance and unprovoked rage, skipping the permits and Emily's fall. When she finished, I stood. "Thank you, Madam President." Before I respond, let's see the full story. Mrs. Carter hooked up her phone, and the video played Linda's reckless grab. Emily's please the crash. Gasps filled the room. Linda jumped up, flushed. Turn it off. That's misleading. I was helping. Helping? I shot back, voice steady but sharp. You illegally removed an ADA-compliant ramp, then endangered my sister, causing injuries requiring medical care. I faced the crowd. I'm Federal Judge Michael Bennett, Ninth Circuit. My work focuses on housing discrimination and ADA violations. Yesterday broke multiple federal laws. Fair Housing Act, ADA, maybe assault. Linda's smugness vanished, replaced by panic. The room shifted. Emotion passed fast. The ramp would be rebuilt at HOA expense with an apology. Linda fled, mumbling about resigning. Days later, federal marshals arrived at her home with a warrant. An investigation into her ADA violations uncovered years of HOA fund embezzlement. She got 2 years in prison, CIVYL penalties, and a lifetime HOA ban. Pinecrest Grove changed. A new caring board formed, starting an accessibility fund with recovered money. Emily grew stronger, her permanent ramp installed smoothly. A letter from Linda came later, prison stamped. Rules without compassion aren't justice at the cruelty. Maybe she learned. Maybe not. But justice had reshaped our world, rising from her fall.